Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now I will discuss about the death and dying. Let's discuss. Understanding that as a part of normal life is a fundamental concept. It is part of life and an extension of God. Everything that has a life on earth will perish one day. The latter year, however, are associated with thought of looming death and the realizations of death affect different people in differently. Some individuals face the reality calmly and with careful preparations, whereas others resist any thought about uh, dying and struggle to ignore what fate has foreordained. Still others succumb to thought of death and go into depression. Although people can imagine others of dying, they often have trouble imagine their own death. That is one of the most profound emotional experiences one encounters. Since time immemorial, that had captured the imagination of poet, philosopher, artists, scientists, and lay persons alike, who have used the concept of death to understand and explanation the meaning of life. Each person has his or her own view of that attitude toward it. However, the society as the main influencer has a huge impact of people perceptions of that. The attitude of the society toward that have been changing over time. Each person's attitude toward that will affect nearly every activity of his or her life. The attitudinal disposition is marked by fear of death to such an extent that one becomes slave to one's emotion, suppression, or ignoring of the thought of death by becoming engrossed in living and accepting that as a reality and preparing for it physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Definition of death and dying. The literature defines death and dying from a number of perspectives, many of which depend upon people's belief system. The commonly used definitions are as follows. Fisher, 1998, defined death as the final moment of life, the end of life as we know it. Koplar and Rose, 1975, defined death as the final stage of growth in his life. There is no total death, only the body dies. The self or spirit, or whatever you may be wish to label it, it is internal, eternal. You may interpret this in any way that makes you comfortable. Fidget, 1998, dying is a journey a person must take in the last phase of life. It is the process leading to the end. It can sometimes be a long journey. Person make in the last phase of life. It is the process of leading to the end. It can sometimes be a long journey of progressive suffering on any level. All persons often fear weakness, pain, physical dependence, and mental deteriorations more than the excesses of life. Attitude toward death and dying. As death transcends all age, mass elderly persons recognize that their own death is close at this time in their lives. Older people think that more than any age. Group. A number of attitudes toward death and dying are prevalent, but the most often depicted in earlier attitude, fear of death and dying. Fear of death is anxiety experiences and anticipation of the event. Such fearful anticipation is basically the result of a failure to observe the death process in others. There are three direct determinants of death anxiety: past related regret, future related regret, and meaningfulness of death. Past related regret refers to the perception of not having fulfilled basic aspiration. Future related to regret refers to the perceived inability to fulfill basic goal in the future. Meaningfulness of that refers to the individual conceptualization of that as a positive or negative, as making sense or being senseless. Attitude, hope. It is well known that most of the time people do hope to live as long as possible. This is a human trait. All humans face growing old but are unable to concretely imagine their own dying process. They are also unable to see themselves truly old because most people the saying is threatening. Attitude, dignity, or integrity. Human integrity can be maintained if one has an attitude of doing things for others and being helpful and contributing positively to the society. Also, in order to preserve their dignity and integrity, the elderly need to know that others support them. There is something to fall back in time of needs. The supportive tech is to make the person realize the basic truth of life. This acceptance often leads to humility. Helping others will strengthen and complete the lives of those who care. Positive attitude has a direct impact on a person's life. Attitude, forgiveness. Many people not grow against certain people as it is perceived that they have harmed. Then to forgive and forget and to think positively go a long way in making a person peaceful. Forgiveness means ceasing to feel any claim to this recompense. A person forgives in order to bring peace into one's own life. It stimulates new spiritual and emotional growth in a person by letting go of the hatred and blame. Other release energy that is trapped in the unprotected recipes of holding a grudge. Attitude, love. Affection and love are the two key positive emotions that sustain a person's life and make life worth living. Love often mysteries of human life. Social scientists today are exploring several aspects of love in later life, especially the three major areas: love and sex after 60. The importance of friendship in the later years, and the call to compassion and universal love. Different view of death. Death has been view at from various point of view. This include that according to physiological, philosophical, and spiritual viewpoint. Physiological view of that when brain and heart is the functioning, no breathing. The next one, when nervous system does not respond, when slowly your body is getting damaged and you can observe that everything is going numb. When a person slips into a coma, philosophical view of that, it is a stage of life. There is no hope for the future, nothing to look forward to. It is one's inability to look beyond or wish, for it is a finite stable life. That forces you to leave everything behind. It takes everything away from you. That is perceived as an inevitable, unwanted fact of life, as a gray area, an unannounced dark area, which no one has previously experienced. It is perhaps these perceptions that evokes fear in people. A spiritual view of life, a spiritual view of death, that is akin to moving away from this materialistic world. And your soul is meeting with God. The supreme authority, it is moving to a higher level. It is a beginning new life. It is the end of physical entirety of our physical being, where the soul leaves the body. That to some means the end of merely the physical existence and the beginning of a new life. It is a part of continuous process that is also perceived as a greater level and visit everyone without discrimination of caste, class, or gender. Every moment since we took birth on this earth, we are inching toward that. Thank you.